45. There goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow! Oh my God! Auburn wins. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl in the most unbelievable fashion you will ever see.
Oh, here we go. Back from a beautiful weekend. Welcome everyone to a brand new edition of the Dream Wager, episode 412. Today is Monday, June 17th, 2024. And back from vacation. E, how was it, kid?
Wadwan. Still, to be honest, it was great. If anybody out there listening, definitely put Jamaica in your travel list. It was definitely well worth it. But I'm glad to be home. You know how some people come back from vacation and be like, oh, back to reality. Psh, I don't know about y'all, but ain't nothing like home. I'd rather be at a resort, all inclusive and all that right now. Don't get me wrong, but ain't nothing like home. That's all I'm gonna say.
Could always be worse, right?
Could be way worse.
Could be way worse, but I'm glad you had a good trip. Expensive out there or decent? You get what you pay for.
Yeah. Realistically, you gotta pay to play. That's all I'm gonna say. You gotta pay to play.
Yeah, no, I hear you, but I'm glad you had a good time. We had an amazing weekend. We'll see what you caught up on, but let's start with the Mavericks. 38-point win to avoid the sweep. The new largest loss in Celtics finals history was 33 points back in 84 when the Lakers and Celtics were battling back in the day. But yeah, it was a big game. The Mavs, they outscored the Celtics by 6 in early on, and then they just never looked back from there. What a game from Luka Doncic. Kyrie had a good game as well. Tim Hardaway Jr. Everyone had a really good game. Who else? Lively was plus 20 from the field as well, and
his first career 3.
Yeah. And it was all for his mom. So it was good. Tim Hardaway, it was nice to see him back in the fold as well. But yeah, they didn't get swept, kid.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch the Boston side. For coming out in a possible closeout game to win your first championship since Paul Pierce and the Big Three, Doc Rivers and them. To me, you came out flat. I don't know if they just. I'm not saying they did, but is it just chance though? They were like, you know what, in a team meeting.
Let's take this one off.
Do y'all want to win it in Dallas, or y'all want to win it at home?
Yeah.
Maybe I highly doubt it, but maybe there's a small chance that I was in it though, because they didn't come out. That's the flattest they came out
in about over a month. Yeah,
not one month. I'm gonna say pre-All-Star game, because this team is locked in all year. So it's just shocking to see, that how dominant they were throughout this playoff run. This is their first road loss. All playoff run. That's how dominant they've been. This is their first playoff loss. And on the loss, still, third or fourth largest deficit loss in NBA Finals history. No team has ever won the finals by losing by that many points, ever. Highly doubt we witness history, but Dill, I'll be glad to witness. And then for Dallas, I don't know if you saw the pregame speech Jason Kidd gave out, but he was like, I hope y'all ready to pack, because we win in this game. We're going to Boston tomorrow.
They're not even thinking about it.
Yeah, so I just love the attitude and the direction Jason Kidd was going. Like, yo, we're winning this game. We're going to Boston. Like they're already talking about Boston game 5. I like that. And still, Luka to start the game on point. Kyrie Irving attacking as well. The supporting cast supported Dill. Green, he did a few things. Exum, he had that big, huge put back dunk from the Kyrie 3 miss. My biggest takeaway from this game, I understand the Dallas Mavericks were basically in full control after the first quarter. I understand that. But what Tim Hardaway Jr. did, Dill, 5 threes in a quarter. It's only been done a couple times. I understand the game wasn't that close, but if you let a shooter, let's not forget, during the regular season, when he got hurt right before the playoffs, he was their third leading scorer on the team. He just hasn't really been back on rotation since the injury, and it's tough to get back on rotation. Nobody's gonna be Porzingis and ball out games 1 and 2 coming back from an injury. He had to work himself in. If Tim Hardaway Jr. just happens, starts hitting his shots, let's just say you don't need to hit 5 threes. If he gives you 9 points, he gives you 3 threes, timely threes, this game is going to get really interesting, Dill. So it's just, to me, that's important when a streaky shooter who hasn't been in rhythm, who hasn't really got any playing time in over a month, he comes in and hits 5 threes. That's only been done in finals history only 4 times.
Yeah, it's kind of great.
Clay, Steph, I don't even know who else. Who else, Dill. So that's, to me, moving forward, Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to be the X factor, Dill. I'm not saying he's going to hit out 5 threes a night, 5 threes a quarter. All I'm saying is if he can hit you 3 to 4 moving forward, this series could possibly get interesting.
Do you think it was more of the fact that they were up 30 and he got this playing time, or do you think his minutes will be, let's say it's a closer game here in game 5, do you think he'll be in crunch time?
Dill, he was getting playing time more series. It's just the impact he had didn't make those minutes stretch. We saw him. All I'm saying is if he goes out there and he takes 2 shots and he hits one of those shots and it's a 3, they're gonna give him a longer leash still, because he shooters shoot, and if he gets going, he could turn the series around. Though I'm serious. If like what Porzingis did in game 1, that's all he has to give you to extend the series to take it in 6. And let's just say if Tim Hardaway Jr.
Shout out Penny though.
Yeah, shout out Penny. If Tim Hardaway Jr. just to say gives you 12 to 15 points in game 5, I'm pretty sure the Dallas Mavericks are probably going to force a game 6.
That's what I was saying earlier, kid. The Mavericks have outscored the Celtics by 6, and they're down 3-1 in the series.
I'm telling you, Dill, besides, we can look at games 1 and 2 where the Dallas Mavericks lost the first quarter, but especially game 1. But second quarter on, Dill, the Dallas Mavericks are above. And you just said it. They're up 6 in the series, down 3-1. You take away the first quarter, Dill, I guarantee that deficit is much larger.
Yeah. Derek Lively, too. I mentioned him. Back-to-back really good games. Game 3 had 11 points and 13 rebounds. Game 4, 11 points, 12 rebounds. He's posted back-to-back double-doubles in the NBA. He's the first rookie to post back-to-back doubles in an NBA Finals as a rookie. So
in the finals, in the finals.
He's good. That's tough, Like, I think they need that as well. So, gun to your head, Porzingis play Game 5? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think he gives you a few minutes. Just as I say, he gives it a go. I think he gives it a OJ Anunoby. I don't think he starts, but he gives it a go. It's not a must-win game, but you don't want to go back to Dallas. That pressure is gonna start coming.
Yeah, I agree. If they lose Game 5 at home, then they go back to Dallas. They're live.
Dallas is live.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. But yeah, credit Mavericks. They didn't get swept in. Huge win by 38. It was insane. 122-284. Awful news afterwards too. I don't know if you heard this, but Charles Barkley announced his retirement from TV after next season. He said he made the decision by himself. No matter what happens, no matter if they bring back the show or not, next year is going to be his last year. So one of the best to ever do it on and off the court. Sad to see him go.
So, Charles Barkley is a legend on and off the court. To be honest, nobody, well, maybe some people out there, but what Charles Barkley was able to do at the booth, broadcasting, not just, TNT and NBA Tonight, but golfing, other things. He's great at it, though. He's a great, lovable guy. And I think Charles Barkley, I'm not saying he's going to retire maybe just from broadcasting, but I guarantee Charles Barkley is going to do something. He's a funny dude, very marketable, and he's still very, I'm going to say young, but he got plenty of life.
He can move around.
Yeah, he can move around, Dill. So I guarantee Charles Barkley is going to do something he probably always wanted to do, or he might just be like, fuck it, man. I made great money these past few years. I'm about to just play golf, drink every day, and gamble, because why not? As he should as a kid.
Yeah. I mean, I can see him doing some movies. He's hilarious.
Bro,
him
he's a
in
legend.
movies.
He's a legend, bro. Imagine, no bullshit. let's just say him and Shaq start a TV show. We tuning in. We tuning in. So Charles Barkley can literally do anything he wants. He got the property. He got the personality. And to be honest, he got the money behind him. I guarantee there's hundreds, maybe not hundreds, but plenty of companies out there willing to float Charles Barkley some money to get something started because they know it's going to be successful.
He's 100%. He's gold. I could see him in like a comedy golf, kind of like
start acting.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. But yeah, he was good in anything he did. Celebrity golf. He even went on the NHL as well. So he does everything. It's hilarious. So yeah, unfortunately, we gotta appreciate this next year with Charles Barkley because it's gonna be his last. Let's go over to the
Thursdays.
Yep, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Let's go over to the gridiron. I know you were in the air while the game was going on, but did you happen to catch the UFL championship?
No, Dale. I wish, because I had a
good
day.
Surprise! Yes, good day. I know you caught your action, but they went for a 3-peat. Birmingham Stallions 25-0. They threw up the first shutout in championship history. They won 2 back-to-back with the UFL or the USFL league, and then the first ever UFL league there. So Lou Holtz's son, Scott Holtz, he's a legendary coach. Adrian Martinez, the quarterback for the Stallions, got the MVP. They cover the game, and I think the story of the game, honestly, was we both talked on Thursday about how good San Antonio's defense was, and it was for the first quarter and a half. But once Birmingham figured him out, it was over. I think the story of the game was how good Birmingham's defense was against San Antonio. They pitched the shutout, kid.
Yeah, I wasn't able to witness it, but I kind of, nailed that, the nail in the coffin. I said it. I expected the Birmingham Stallions defense to play great, especially in the first half. And the Stallions, it wouldn't shock me if they start off slow. They'll hit the under 20.5 first half, and then the Stallions, you was on it all along. I rode them through. Stallions -3.5, -4, -3, whatever you got it at. And I know you cashed that ticket in, so congrats on that, Dill. Stallions, I didn't get to see the game, but what I see right now, that was pure dominance, people.
Yeah, go back and watch it. I think the highlights are only like 10, 15 minutes, but it was good. Honestly, the first quarter was back and forth, just beyond stops. And then they kind of opened it up, like I said, and they kind of figured him out. Who the running back was his name? Ricky Person Jr. from Birmingham, 13 carries for 102 yards. He had that 44-yard run up the sideline. He was just out as well. Gary Jennings had a nice touchdown as well for them receiving, but Adrian Martinez was the MVP for rightful reason. 13 for 23, 98 yards. He threw 1 touchdown. He also ran for 2 touchdowns, 11 carries for 52 yards. But yeah, they dominated. 308 yards, 210 on the ground compared to just 52. That front four for Birmingham, kid, they couldn't run the ball to save their life the whole game. They had just 52 yards on the ground, San Antonio. Sad to see our boy Wade Phillips not get it, but the better team won,
Yeah, give credit to the Stallions. They've been the powerhouse all 2-3 seasons now, to be honest. But nobody saw Birmingham making it this far preseason, honestly. So give credit to Wade Phillips, great head coach, even in the NFL, doing great things in the UFL like that. But nobody thought the Birminghams would have made it. I think they were plus 1,700 to reach the championship game. So give them credit, man. Shout out to the San Antonio Brahmas, but shout out to Birmingham Stallions.
Yeah, 3P, and they're coming. They're coming for 4 in a row now as well. So yeah, nice to cash that ticket earlier in the season, like Elvis alluded to. Plus 185, Birmingham outright. So I'll get my full record. I got to add everything up, but I know it was a successful season. Not as good as last year or 2 years ago, but definitely a successful season. Let's stay on the gridiron, kid. We'll go to the NFL. We got some T. Higgins news. He is signing the franchise tag. He is expected to report to training camp this summer. By signing the franchise tender, he is expected to be at minicamp. A long-term deal, according to Schefter, is still considered, quote-unquote, a long shot. He missed the entire offseason program. He's set to make about $21.8 million this season under the tag. So he does have until July 15th. Him and his representation and the Bengals still can negotiate a long-term deal until July 15th. But from everything that I'm reading from Rappaport and Schefter, it seems unlikely, if I'm being honest. In 4 seasons, T. Higgins totaled 3,684 yards and 24 touchdowns. 21.8 million is extremely low for T. Higgins.
Yeah, Dale, he's going to be under contract for this season. We both know he don't want to play under it, but hey, he's not about to just start losing money for not showing up to camp and then not get paid at all for the season. So you might as well just, man up and do it. I wouldn't say man up, my fault. That's disrespectful. But you might as well just bite the bullet and get your millions while you can. I don't think a long-term deal gets done. I personally think T. Higgins just wants what he deserves, and the Bengals simply not trying to pay for it just because they just made Joe Burrow the highest-paid quarterback in the NFL, and they also know they got to make at least Jamar Chase a top 3, right? At least a top 3. You got to respect the man.
At least.
At least a top 3 highest-paid wide receiver. So I understand from the front office perspective, but you can't just let T. Higgins go. I was you. Give him the deal. But before you put pen and paper, find a trade suitor, work something out, do something in that favor. Because I don't know, dude. I just don't see give him, the franchise tag and then let him walk next season. So that's just my thing. But I understand. Hopefully they able to get a long-term deal done. But I don't see T. Higgins or his agent budging because he wants
which they shouldn't though.
He shouldn't. I think he's a $25 to $28 million a year wide receiver. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think they are far off. At least he's getting something. I know he didn't want to play under the tag, but you'd rather get 29.
Does?
Yeah,
Who does?
I get it.
Look at Dallas situation right now. Minka,
and that's
CD, it's getting ugly.
That's something you do not want to be a part of. But yeah, I agree. I don't think a long-term deal gets done. And if you're able to get at least draft capital, maybe a player back, at least get something like Elvis said. I agree. Got some UFL news as well. Kicker from the Michigan Panthers. Jake Bates, he signed a 2-year deal with the Detroit Lions. He visited the Lions, the Packers, and the Redskins. He opted to stay in Michigan. Obviously, he was on the Michigan Panthers. He hit the longest field goal in UFL history, 64 yards. He was ranked second in the UFL with 17 field goals this season. Obviously, the 64 long was his longest one against the St. Louis Battlehawks. That's just 2 yards less than Justin Tucker's NFL record of 66 yards. So, guy has a boot. I'm glad he's getting a deal, and he's staying home. He's going to the Detroit Lions where they need a kicker.
Yeah, Joe. I love the fact that it's a 2-year deal, and like you said, was it Justin Tucker record-breaking kick
in Detroit? Yes, sir.
Detroit. Imagine that. So Dan, and let's not forget, people. Dan Campbell missed a go for a 4th down. Now he got a trusty kicker. He can rely on a kick of 48, kick of 52, maybe a 62 or 64. Hey, maybe even a 66, 67. We see a record breaker is indoors, people. Is indoors. He was kicking outside in Michigan. If he could kick it out there, he could probably kick it anywhere, Dill.
He can kick it anywhere.
So hopefully, I love the fact that it's a 2-year deal, and hopefully Dan Campbell could just bite the bullet and be like, let's just kick it. Let's just kick it.
Yeah.
You got a great kicker now. I think the kid is gonna be pretty possibly a Pro Bowl in his first year, Dill, if he stays on this track. He's gonna get the attempts up. He's gonna get the attempts up
with that offense. Yeah,
with that offense, is Dan Campbell going to go for it 40% of the time or not? That's the question. I think with this signing, he'll tone it back to about 15 to 20.
Now he has a guy because the kicker situation was so inconsistent in Detroit, and now he has a guy that he could trust. We'll see. It's a little different in the NFL, but the guy has talent, obviously. By the way, remember that fucking scumbag Isaiah Buggs, the Chiefs defensive lineman? He was arrested for hurting his dogs.
Oh, yeah.
He was arrested Sunday morning for domestic violence and burglary charge, and he was released. This is twice in Tuscaloosa. No, it's not funny. It's just he's a piece of shit, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I'm laughing at. Hey, after winning a Super Bowl, life could get hectic. but beating dogs or hurting dogs or just harming dogs, starving dogs, not right. Now a domestic violence charge. I'm gonna say the burglary is just exaggeration. My man's a millionaire. Highly doubt he's out here robbing people, but he definitely assaulted somebody. Domestic violence, somebody, probably a woman. Hey man, you gotta get it together. You gotta get it together, Dale. To me, it's just funny that you it's the way you
It's
put
what
it.
it's like a hell of an off season. They just can't get out of their
You know
own
what?
way right now.
Maybe when you go back to back, that's the thing. We never
Uh,
been back to back champs. Maybe when you go back to back and get paid millions in doing so, you just start acting up. You start thinking you're untouchable. Maybe that's it. We need to go back to back on something.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs were aware of the incident, but declined to comment. So we'll see.
Smart.
He was released a $5,000 bond, which is nothing for him. But yeah, just awful situation in my opinion. Let's go to the NHL. We were looking for 2 sweeps over the weekend, but Oilers, they wind up winning at home 8-1. This is the Oiler team I've been looking for the first 3 games, kid. I mean, the shots were amazing. They pulled Bobrovsky with like 15 or 16 shots in the second period. They pulled them. Stoltz wasn't even better. McDavid finally got on the scorecard. He scored a goal. They were just rallying, and it was crazy because Florida scored the first goal of the game, and then they ate unanswered from Edmonton. But yeah, they forced Game 5 going back to Florida. Now, did you catch any of this NHL game?
Dale. You know, I didn't realize Jamaica was an hour back to almost 2 days in.
Oh my god!
I was having a good time, Dale. But I did see the score. I was like, by the time they wake up, game
Yeah, right.
4, so long trip down to Florida, but hopefully that long trip is worth a while and they're able to take it right back to Canada. They'll honestly, if they can keep it up at that pace, still, now we see why they're in the
Yeah,
cup. You know, that's the
yeah.
team that you expected, who I was excited to see. They just haven't showed up, Still, maybe this sparks something. Highly that we see four wins in a row in this cup, but hey. I wouldn't
Crazier
mind.
things have happened.
I wouldn't mind a witness history there either.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's good for that. I just want more sports like that. I just want to get something to us to football. By the way, I'm
Yeah.
creating the schedule. 3 a day or 2 a days are coming up. I
Mm-hmm.
forgot we're already in the middle of June, kid.
Yeah,
We're
coming
moving. Yeah,
birthday coming up though.
We're moving. We're moving and grooving. Don't tell me that. Like back when I was younger, bro, I was like, oh, it's my birthday. Like we're gonna go out. We're gonna sell. Now that I'm like older, I'm like, it's like another fucking day.
Yeah.
I don't even really care anymore about it. I'm more excited to just get away for a week and, reset before the NFL season because we know how big that is. College football season right around the corner too. So let's not forget that. But before we get into these plays, a quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry playing around the golf with the boys or an elderberry watching Game 5 of the NBA Finals. It doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at the Dream Wager and at Viva is to live long, live well, and to live it up. All right, kid, let's get to it. NBA Game 5 of the Finals back in Boston, 8:30 Eastern start time. By the way, no jet lag, right? You're not.
Nah.
All right, you're
I'm
good.
fine.
You're good. All right. Boston, they opened up a 7-point favorite. They're down to 6.5 right now. So a little money has come in on the Mavs. Total hasn't moved off of 209. I think the number is sharp, if I'm being honest. So we'll start with the side. Is it a gentleman's sweep, kid? Do they get it done in 5?
To be honest, I wouldn't be shocked if they do, but me as a fan, I want to see a game extra or 2. I want to see 5. I want to see 6. I would love to see 7. You know, we can't deny the fact how dominant the Mavs looked in Game 4. Was that Mavs just scraping the bottom of the barrel and just giving everything they had, and maybe they come out flat for Game 5, or was it just Boston was like, you know what, we want to win it at home? I don't know, Dill. So I don't want to take too much from it, but what we witnessed on Friday was pure domination from the start of the game on both sides of the ball. With that being said, I'm gonna take the Dallas Mavericks +4 in the first half. That's what I'm gonna do, Dill. I'm gonna take the
Interesting.
+4. First half's a bit much closer. Second half still, to be honest, we're not unpredictable. Besides Game 4, we're kind of unpredictable. So I'm gonna go first half +4, and I'm gonna lean the +6.5 with the Dallas Mavericks.
I'm gonna lay a kid. I'll lay the 6.5 here with the Celtics. I think they close this series out at home. I don't think we're gonna see a worse performance than we did in
Oh
Game
no,
4.
absolutely not.
I think they took the. Honestly, I think they punted the game. If I'm being honest, I think initially when they got down 20, they're like, "Fuck this! Like, we're gonna go home." And people might not think like that's a real thing, but people want to celebrate on their home court. It's weird celebrating like on a visitor's court. So I think that is a factor as well. I think Jaylen Brown plays better. I think Jason Tatum. I think everyone plays better. So I think defensively, I think they lock up. I actually like Luka over, I think 7.5 points in the first quarter. He's been dominating in the first quarter. I like that as well. Not to get ahead of ourselves with the player props, but yeah, I just like, I think they're more of a deep team. I like some of the adjustments that Jason Kidd and the Mavs did, but if they can't do those lobs or hit those corner threes, they're kind of a one-dimensional team offensively. And I thought Boston, up until Game 4, did a really good job of taking that away. And I think they get back to the basics of defending Luka and Kyrie. So, yeah, I'm going to lay the 6.5 with the Celtics. I think they close it out here at home. As for the total, I mentioned it hasn't moved. It's around 209.5. I lean under, but I think it's spot on, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, Dub, this was another stay away, just because I don't know what I'm gonna see in the second half, dude. That's my thing. I don't know what I'm gonna see. Is it gonna be more like Game 4? Is it gonna be like the rest of the series? I think it's gonna be like the rest of the series. I think it's gonna be more like we saw Game 1 and 2, especially in the second half. I do expect Dallas Mavericks to, play strong, but if anything, realistically, though, I lean the under, because I feel like Dallas, they got to play at a high level defensively, and we already know the Celtics, the best defense in basketball, are gonna play at a high level. So I feel like if the Mavericks has any chance of getting back to Dallas, they got to keep Boston Celtics off the boards, off second chances. And off the 3-point line, Joe, we all know the Celtics live and die by the 3-point line. So it depends.
Yeah, no, I agree. Let's go to player props. I kind of got ahead of myself a little bit, but what I was saying, I like Luka Doncic over 7.5 points in the first quarter. I know some books offer that. I know a lot of books don't offer first quarter props, but if they do, look for Luka Doncic points over in the first quarter. He's been dominating in the first quarter in this series, in the whole playoffs, actually. I'm going to go Jaylen Brown under 2.5 3-pointers made. I feel like this line is too high, man. Brown, he's just shooting 33% from deep in the postseason. And I feel like Brown's game, correct me if you see something different, but when I'm watching Jaylen Brown, I feel like his game isn't shooting the three. It's attacking the rim, getting to the line. He's not known for a 3-point shooting. So during the finals, he's gone 2 for 6, 1 for 5, 2 for 9, and 1 for 5 in this series. He's gone over this line in just 5 of the 22 playoff games this season, and 0 for 4, like I just mentioned, versus Dallas. So, I feel like Brown could have a good game without hitting 3-pointers, and we've seen it in games 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to go under 2.5 3-pointers. It's a little chalky at -122, but I like that. I like Luka Doncic over 7.5 points in the first quarter.
I love the Luka over 7.5. I'm gonna try to tell that though, some way, somehow. But my player props though, give me Kyrie Irving over 23.5 at -125. Give me a sprinkle at 30 plus at plus 330, Dale. Give me another sprinkle at plus 35. 35 plus points at plus 950. Give me a little sprinkle. It's not up there. Try to shop around, people. 40 plus points. I think small chance. I'm going to give it better than 25% chance we see a vintage Kyrie Irving game. We see a 30 something, maybe a 40. I highly doubt a 40. But it wouldn't shock me if Kyrie gives you 34. Luka gives you about 32, 35. And they force your game 6. Kyrie gives you that. I think he definitely goes over 20, 23 and a half. He's been on a roll since game 3 and on. And I know something about that building. I understand he hasn't won there since Nam. But I think Kyrie got one last trick in the bag. And I think he's going to do one in Boston. They'll give me over 20, 23 and a half and a couple sprinkles at plus 30 and plus 35. And give me Luka Doncic still over 8.5 rebounds. It's a little chalky, minus 139. But shop around, people. Even if you could get 9.5 at minus 110, minus 115, I still love it. I expect Luka, if the game is up for grabs, it's a close game scenario. If he plays 40 plus minutes, he'll be well above 10 rebounds. Trust me, people. So give me over 8.5. Shop around, even if it's 9.5, get a better number. I expect Luka to be over double digits, and maybe even sprinkle something on a triple double.
I love it, kid. I love it. Any other props? Any other plays?
If you can, I've been looking. Try to find Penny Hardaway, man. His point.
Not Penny Hardaway.
I keep saying Penny. Tim Hardaway Jr. I haven't really been. I just landed like 7 something people East Coast time, so I haven't really been looking on the.
We'll give you a break. We'll give you a break.
Trust me, whatever book you can find it, I have a feeling he saw the ball go in multiple times. I'm not saying he's gonna hit 5 people, but to hit 2 or 3, I guarantee it'll be plus money, a good one.
Yeah, I love it, kid. All right. Any other thing, any MVP you want to throw out there? I think you got the best number before this start. It was Jaylen Brown, right?
Jaylen Brown plus what? 900?
Plus 900. He's minus 230 right now to win the MVP.
I try to tell you, he's just a little more consistent on both sides of the ball. Jason Tatum had one great game in this series. Brown had a 30-piece as well, people. Who hit the dagger in game 3? Jaylen Brown. Who was making those key defensive plays games 1 and 2 with Porzingis? It was Brown. Brown had I think 5 or 6 blocks between games 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. You know, he's doing it on both sides of the ball. People understand.
I also think he got snubbed for first team All NBA defense.
Oh, absolutely.
I think he's throwing it.
Snubbed All NBA. He was he didn't even make 3rd All Team. I think Tyrese got it over him.
Yeah.
You know, all respect to Tyrese. No disrespect, my brother. But we can't deny what Jaylen Brown has been doing this whole entire playoff run or this last season. Let's just be honest. So I knew I just had a feeling, and we saw it even in the Eastern Conference Finals. Though he just played a little better than Tatum. That's all. A little more impactful, a little more consistent. Nothing against Tatum. We saw how masterful he is. He's one of the best players in the league. But right now, Jaylen Brown is just playing just a tad better. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. And sometimes, like, I know the whole debate real quick, and I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but I know a lot of people are like, oh, is Jason Tatum top 5 for you? He can't be for me because, like you just explained, he's not even the best player sometimes on his own team.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
sometimes.
I think sometimes, yes, that's why I preference, because there's some nights, for example, in this finals, Jaylen Brown, and I think everyone, even himself, could admit that Jaylen Brown has been playing at a higher level.
We could say it's the last eight games easily. The last 8-game stretch, Jaylen Brown has been just simply been the more consistent and better player on both sides of the court.
Yeah, 100%. So we're out here giving winners plus 900 for the MVP. I really hope you took that as well, kid. Let's go over to the Diamond Shorts slate here on a Monday. Only I think 9 plays. Yeah, 9 plays here on a Monday. Let's go over. I had a really good Red Sox. Looks like we're recording this live Sunday night. They're up 9-3, taking 2 of 3, kid, from the Yankees.
Come on now, Phil. You know it's not an easy play to play in Fenway now.
No, I love it. I love it. All right, let's get to the first game here on a Monday. It's Paul Skeens Day. The Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the Cincinnati Reds. I don't really have anything in this game, kid, if I'm being honest. Why don't you give your first play out?
I'm gonna get my first play out there. St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Miami Marlins. Over under sitting at 7.5. St. Louis laying -155 on the money line. Miami catch it +132. Yeah, I'm a lay. It's a little chalky, but you got Sonny Gray on the mound. St. Louis coming along, winners 4 out of the last 5. Miami lost 5 straight, people. Sonny Gray on the mound. I just think it's a tough matchup. Give me the St. Louis on the money line, -155. If you want, sprinkle a little something on the run line. They're on the road, so I'm not as confident in it. At +114, it might be worth it as well, but I think the juice will be worth the squeeze. They'll give me the St. Louis -155.
I lied. I'm gonna actually go back to that Pirates. I found a play. I am going to take Paul Skeens over 7.5 Ks here. I mean, Reds, they strike out a lot. And Paul Skeens has been able to give you good length. And he has 8+ Ks in 3 straight games. I think he at least 7.5 for Paul Skeens is ridiculous. I know I paid some chalk. It's at -136 over on FanDuel, but I do like that. Paul Skeens over 7.5 strikeouts. Next game for me, I'm going to go to that Phillies game. Phillies taking on the San Diego Padres. Randy Vasquez going for the Padres. Christopher Sanchez going for the Phillies. -172 for the Phillies. +144 for the Padres. Over under is at 9.5. That total is just way too high, kid. I got to go under here. I've liked what I've seen from Sanchez at home. 195 ERA at home, just 8 runs given up in 37 innings. He hasn't allowed a home run. He's only allowed 1 home run at home, and just 1 home run in general on the season. And out of his 6 starts at home, 4 of the 6 starts have gone under. So I feel like the Phillies, they've been in a lot of low-scoring games, 6-3-1 towards the under in their last 10 games. Pirates last 6 games, 5-1 towards the under. 2 low-scoring teams. I got to take the under. So my next play is under 9.5 for the Padres and Phillies.
I love it, though. I love it. My next play will be, I understand we like to fade them, people, but guess what? Boston Red Sox taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. Preveto's on the mound. Blue Jays laying -125 on the money line. Over under sitting at 8. Give me the Boston Red Sox on the money line, Till. It's been a while since I said it. I understand, people. Sunday night baseball, this, that, but we played well against the Yankees, winning 2 out of 3 as of right now, looking like it. That plane ride from Boston to Toronto got to be about an hour 15 tops. Still, that's a good meal and a couple car games, still, and they're in Toronto, so I ain't worried about it. Give me the Boston Red Sox +105 on the money line.
Next play for me, give me the Blue Jays first 5 +0.5 a run. You're
why I like scared. You took first 5. That's all I'm gonna say.
This isn't a because I don't want anything to do with that Blue Jays bullpen. Now I've been on the Red Sox this season. I've been on this Red Sox team. I took them today +130. I took them Friday. I took them Saturday. I've been on the Red Sox. I think they've been getting kind of disrespected to the odds makers. But here, I like to fade teams that played Sunday Night Baseball and now have to travel. Granted, not a big travel spot, but bats might be a little sluggish, and Yusei Kikuchi has looked really good in his last 2 starts against 2 really good teams, Brewers and Orioles. Really good team. So, I think he has a chance to be good, especially early on. I'm not the biggest Nick Pivetta fan either, if I'm being honest. He hasn't pitched the best on the road. They might win, but I'm going to back the Blue Jays here in the first 5.
It might be more Boston fans there than Toronto.
Oh, come on. Let's relax. What's your next play?
Watch it. My final play of the day, people. Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Los Angeles Angels. I'm finally seeing Los Angeles, not Anaheim. Los Angeles Angels. It's a dead even, both -108, -110, whatever you find in that, people. Over and they're sitting at 8.5. Give me the Brew Crew on the road, people. I'm going to just take the better team. Simply, you just got to take the better team. I understand Angels are at home and everything. Playing a little better as of late, but I don't give a fuck. Give me the Brewers, Brew Crew on the road, -108 on the money line, people.
All right, next game for me, I'm going to go with the Tigers and Braves over there in Atlanta, 7:20 start time. Max Fried going for the Braves, Reese Olson going for the Tigers. Over a $2 favorite for the Braves. -1.5 is at -104. +168 for the Tigers on the road. Over under is at 8. Give me the team total over for the Atlanta Braves, over 4.5 at -120. This team started hitting again. They've won 3 of the last 4. They played really good over the weekend, and they started scoring runs. That was the problem. The pitching has been good. It just they haven't been able to hit. They scored 22 runs in those 3 games over the weekend. And once they start hitting the long ball, I think they're back. As much as I hate it, I love this matchup. Reese Olson has not looked good for the Tigers in the month of June. 17 runs given up in 14 innings, over a 10 ERA. He's given up the deep ball 3 times in the month of June as well. So over 4.5 for the team total for the Braves. I like that. Olson has given up 4+ runs in 3 straight games. So yeah, I think the bats continue to stay hot. Give me Braves team total over 4.5. Anything else for you, kid?
Nah, that's all about it. I didn't want to force too much, first
All right.
back.
And then I got one more play. It's the last game on the slate. Los Angeles Angels. I said Los Angeles now too. Angels hosting the Milwaukee Brewers. Carlos Rodriguez going for the Brewers. Jose Serrano going for the Anaheim Angels. Might be a trap, but I'll take it. Give me the Brewers -112, -115, whatever you're able to get. I get it. It's Carlos Rodriguez's second start in the majors. But even if he gives you 3 to 4 innings, this Brewers bullpen is top 5 in the majors. And also, I think this is just a fate of Jose Serrano. I'm not high at him at all. At home, he's been terrible. 5.54 ERA, gives up a ton of hard contact. And the Brewers, they rake against righties. They're really aggressive at the plate. I love their team total over 4.5, whatever number you could get as well. It should be a high-scoring game, I think. It's going to be a windy night in Anaheim tomorrow. Wind's blowing out. So I love the team total over for the Brewers, and I also love the Brewers here on the money line -112. Anything else on the Diamond Kid before we get over to the ice for Game 5?
Nah, that's about it, kid. It's a short slate.
Yeah.
I ain't really trying to force much. Yeah, that's all.
All right. Let's go to the ice. Game 5, like I said, going back to Florida Tuesday night. Let me tell you the odds. Panthers are favorites at home, -134. Edmonton Oilers +114 on the money line. Over under is at 5.5. It did finally get over the total yesterday or 2 days ago, kid. We'll start with you. Any opinion on the side or total?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Panthers money line -135. We saw how great. I don't want to say how great they play, but how they was able to win these games at home games. Even Game 3, up at the Oilers. Still, I just feel like Florida they've just been the better team. Though honestly, can Edmonton shoot the way they did again? Can they make those shots? They're gonna put the shots up. Are they gonna fall in? That's the question. I give them a shot, though, but I think it's destined for the Panthers to take care of business at home. Give me the Panthers -135 on the money line. And guess what, people? Give me the under. I've been betting the over every game in this series. Every time. Give me the under. Guess what? Give me the under 5.5 as well. That's what I'm going to really take official. And I'm going to slightly lean the money line. Give me the under 5.5.
I think that correlates. If you like the Panthers, it's probably going to be an under game. If you like the Oilers, it's probably going to be an over game. So I do think it correlates your plays. When they're zigging, you're zagging. I like it, kid. I agree on the Panthers side. I don't know about the total. I'm gonna stay away from the total. I agree with the Panthers. I do think they close it out. I got 2 player props I really like. I'm gonna go back to my guy Sergei Bobrovsky, the goalie for the Florida Panthers, over 24.5 saves. There wasn't a single player on Florida that had a positive game over the weekend, but you got to expect a strong bounce back here in Game 5 at home. And I think one of those players is Sergei Bobrovsky. He's allowed 5 goals against on 16 shots faced. Easily his worst performance in the playoffs. While obviously that wasn't his best, neither was the team in front of him. Most of his defensemen weren't good. Most of Edmonton's goal came from right at top of the crease. And as a goalie, I feel like there isn't much you could do in those situations. So he's going to bounce back here at home. I agree with you. I do think they're still going to get off the shot. So over 24.5 shots at -128 for my first prop. And then I'm going to go to a forward, Alexander Burkhoff, under 2.5 shots on goal. He's been one of the best players in this entire postseason, but he's been quiet, especially Saturday night. He was able to generate 2 shots on goal over the weekend, but it's interesting that the number is at 2.5. He hasn't been able to get over 2.5 shots in all 4 games this series. And he was -2 from the ice, I almost said field, in game 4. And, I just don't see that happening again. He's been incredible on the defensive side of the puck. So I think he's going to focus more on defense. And like I said, he hasn't gone over 2.5 shots on goal in this whole series. So I don't expect anything to change. I think he's going to focus on the defensive side of the puck. And hopefully the Panthers get their first NHL Stanley Cup final for Lord Stanley. But anything else, kid? We got a jam-packed Monday and Tuesday.
Did you was able to catch that tank fight?
Oh, my God. Did I see to the stomach, and then he slept him with the left. I mean, -175 I hit on him to be via knockout. And Frank Martin, up to date, was probably his best competition.
Yeah, absolutely. But dude, that was a great. I only was able
great
to catch
fight.
4th round and on. That was a great fight. To be honest, Frank Martin played box much better than I expected. He gave Tank everything he had, but he just ran out. I'm not gonna say he ran out of gas, but Tank is the champ for a reason, people.
Yeah.
And he was ready to go those championship rounds, and that's what it was. He was just simply the much better fighter. We saw it, especially rounds 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, I did see that as well. It was an amazing fight. We'll see what happens next. Maybe he gets the Jersey boy, Shakur Stevenson. That would be a hell of a fight.
That's not gonna happen.
I mean, hopefully.
That's what we call people a super fight. I highly doubt it happens, but hey, if the money's right, maybe the promoters could get it done. But I highly doubt it, though.
Yeah, no. But we have sweet. Yeah,
one thing real quick, and then you can end it off. Though we know I'm not throwing no shade, but I think we could all generally know this: boxers don't like losing. They like to pick their fights. They like to protect those undefeated records. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and we have seen a lot of for example, Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. We saw the biggest heavyweight because of his excellency in Saudi Arabia. So they have been investing a lot of money into it. So we have been able to get those cards and those mega fights, like you said. So, by the way, real quick, shout out Bryson DeChambeau, man. He won the U.S. Open, the 124th U.S. Open. He shot a -7. It was an incredible run. It came down to him and Ricky Fowler as well. So, no, Roy McIlroy, it came down to. But Bryson becomes the 4th player to win the U.S. Open multiple times in a century. Do you know who the other 3 are?
No, hell no.
So, I don't know. I didn't either. Tiger Woods won it in 2000, 2002, and 2008. Bryson DeChambeau won it in 2020 and this year, 2024. Brooks Koepka won it in 27. He won it back-to-back in 27 and 28.
Brooks Koepka did have that run, though.
Yeah. And Golson, don't know the first name, but Golson won it in 2001 and in 2004. So 1 of 4 players to win it multiple times in the last 25 years. You got to love it. So I just wanted to give him his flowers as well. But all right, kid, that's going to do it for this Monday edition of The Dream Wager. On behalf of our sponsor, Viva Tequila, Elvis, myself, make sure you guys follow along our social media, Twitter and Instagram at The Dream Wager. If you missed an episode, no worries. You guys can catch us wherever you get your podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, rate, give us a review. Leave in the comments who you like for Game 5 of the NHL Stanley Cup as well, who you like in baseball. All that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend. Everyone have a great week, and we will see you guys on Wednesday. Peace.